right, guys, welcome to
All Things Armwrestling.
Awesome. How are you guys doing? You guys were here last time, and now you were here for an update.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months or so. So what's been going on?
We're okay. We went to the Union Square meetup.
Oh, yeah. You guys went to Union Square to see Alex Top Roll on Halloween.
And we did.
Yeah. How was that?
Tony was there. They were all, It was
good. A
good.
lot of the guys from our practice were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, you got to arm wrestle, and even like people who don't even arm wrestle, they just come on in and they just join in the fun. And you know, you meet.
How long were you guys there?
I think we were there for like a few hours.
Yeah, a couple of hours.
So like,
Just a couple hours, not like 4 hours?
Maybe 4.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been.
Maybe, yeah.
Because we were looking for the place the whole day, and then we finally found it. We were going in circles, then we saw the dude with the American tank top.
And then there was like that whole like band thing.
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
It was like
Screaming
it was-
Circle.
not the screaming circle. There was like a
Peter, come up to the mic.
There was like there was like some kind of an African American like band going on. They were like doing some crazy drumming.
And there's always some guy in a megaphone screaming shit.
Yeah,
I saw some weird-
Oh, and then there was this freaking guy who was trying to talk about praising the Lord or something.
They're always praising the Lord.
Or like, and they were saying that children who dress up in Halloween costumes are
going to
supporters
hell.
of like Satan.
Of course they are. Yeah, that's why we do it to them. Yeah. Come on, kids. Wear the Satan costume now.
You know,
Don't do the voice.
I'm not-
remember you're doing
Yeah.
it. Oh, hey, little...
Hey, little boy, I'll give you $20 if you come over here.
Yeah, that sounds like Union Square. Dude, that's what's awesome.
No,
about
that
Union
happened. There
Square.
was a guy who asked us. Remember the dude who was like, he wanted us to go to the liquor store for him? He actually asked you to follow him?
Yes.
Why did you need to go to the liquor store?
He wanted me. He's like, yo,
So
you said he
we
was...
were sitting down waiting for all the other
And he
arm wrestling
thought we
people
knew
to-
him.
We were waiting for all the other arm wrestling people to come in, right? And then this black guy comes in with like a bag or something. I don't know. And he's like asking me like, hey, come with me. And because he wants me to get him alcohol or something. And
Why? Because they won't sell it to him because he's all fucked up or something?
yeah.
I
I guess.
Then he asked me,
Or
he's like, no.
smells like piss?
He said he knew me. He's like, I know you. We just talked.
Oh.
And I'm like, what do you mean? What do we talk about? He's like, you said he was going to buy me beer.
Ah.
And I'm like, what do you
He
mean?
never even met you.
I'm like, I didn't
Right.
know if he was fucking with me. And then he kept staring at us
Yeah.
for like 5 minutes, and then he stopped and he went.
It was
And
so creepy. And then Arie was telling me, Peter,
don't follow.
don't follow this man.
He's like, he's tricking you. It's
Yeah.
not. It's like candy in the van.
I mean, he's like, he's like that. He's like that one guy who's like, I'll give you a box of candy if you come over here.
Right, exactly.
Right? You know, it's like,
Why do you sound like Mickey
I'll
Mouse?
definitely
It's like-
get in that van. Get in that van so I can get you.
How you doing, man?
Okay.
I don't know what's going
No
on.
more.
Okay, fine.
No, but Union Square is amazing because, like, if Alex Top Roll and whoever is involved with their whole team there, they see how ridiculous it is.
There was a
You-
screaming
You got college
circle.
students, you
Yeah.
got the skateboarders, you got regular shoppers, you got homeless people, you got alcoholics and drug addicts, you got those dudes, those random types of dudes who look like they live on the street that arm wrestle with the cigarette and stuff. So they're like,
Oh, yeah, well,
loving
that guy-
shit.
And there was like that one black
was
guy.
like, yeah.
He was like, he had a cigarette, and then he was doing this. Yeah, he was doing like that weird looking.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
don't
I'm gonna
go-
get you.
Don't go hypocritical because you did that too.
Hey, but my face is more.
He does it for a different reason.
I do it for a different purpose.
Okay, why? Okay. Oh my God.
But today's episode, we're going to be talking about what, guys?
History and the culture of arm wrestling.
Oh yeah, history and culture of arm wrestling. So what did you guys find out? Because as far as the culture of arm wrestling, what I like when James was on here, we talked about arm wrestling as a community and it's like a society of like men and women to get together and just train
it's like-
and get together and have fun once a week, whatever the hell is. But,
No, yeah.
But now we're going deeper to like the beginnings of arm wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And like the where it started and evolved in different places, right? So
Yeah.
So what did you guys find out?
Well, I found out I was like trying to look up like modern arm wrestling, like the history of modern arm wrestling. And I found out,
And when you say modern, what does that mean?
I guess like AD, after death or Christ or whatever. So I was like looking it up all the way. You know how I look.
arm wrestling arm wrestling started. You looked up arm wrestling like in the year 3.
Yeah.
You mean like that?
Yes.
So
No.
then,
because I was looking up and I was like, you know how in that I looked up that documentary about Brzezinski, and they were even saying it that
Are you talking about Pulling John?
yes,
Yeah,
and they even talked about it for like 10 seconds, like Roman generals chose their dudes based on arm wrestling. So they're like, okay, this guy, he's Chad, he's the general. This guy's not.
right.
Okay, he's a fairy guy. No, you can't be.
Exactly.
Okay, but I looked up and then there was like 4 main countries that were they were talked about in the history, and it was Egypt, Rome, Greece, and Japan. Those were like the 4 countries that were for some reason the ones they talked about in ancient times and ancient history, and there was like very different variants of it. Like some, you were actually. It was funny. We were talking about standing and arm wrestling because there was actually a form.
Yeah, do they have like Egypt hieroglyphs of them arm wrestling?
Yeah. And there was even same thing with Japan. They had they were on the floor and they were doing it. It was like they were doing all positions. They were like prone, plank doing it, standing doing it. It was like funny, everything but sitting at a table doing it. So there was so many other different forms of arm wrestling.
So that's interesting. So it's weird to think of, okay, so at some point someone decided we need a table.
Yeah.
To rein this shit in a little bit, right?
And then it was like with the wrist wrestling, that's where that was like, I feel like the first evolution of modern arm wrestling right before modern.
You're talking about the United States only by that point, right?
Yeah.
Wrist wrestling. So that would have been like the 60s in California.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
The bar, it was Petaluma.
Okay.
Yes. And that's where the rules were a little different. It was talking about like when you start and like I don't know if they were talking about pronation or supination, or it might have been just curl your wrist in.
Right.
Because it was like wrist wrestling.
Like starting in a hook.
Yeah, or like your fingers and your wrist is all just like a hook.
You guys would be the worst at that.
Oh, we wouldn't be allowed at the tournament. They wouldn't let us in.
They'd be like, no, you guys don't do it right.
Okay, you guys are, what do you guys?
Come back in 10 years.
Some beatniks?
Right, what is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, actually, it's funny because we were talking about the press and the flop stuff last time. I actually recently found out that currently these days, I didn't even know it was this serious, but apparently pressing is actually also in the talk with Kings moving. Like when people talk about pressing, they're also talking about it like it's in the same group or room with Kings moving. Because a lot of people are like arguing that, it's not legit arm wrestling, like that kind of style. Because I didn't even know that was in the argument or talk about it. So I was surprised.
Well, when you think about it technically, like the way Devin describes arm wrestling, King's move and press are on the two polar opposites of inside and outside. So when you're the most outside, you're King's moving. When you're the most inside, you're pressing. So there's nothing more inside than pressing, and then there's nothing more outside than King's move. So that's why they're similar.
So they're the radical extreme.
Yeah, they're like the yin and yang, you know?
Oh, that's actually cool.
Yeah. And then somewhere in the middle is everything else.
Oh, everything else is like hook and top roll.
Well, when you look at the yin and yang symbol, the thing that's in the middle is the line that delineates the two. And that's actually the
What are those two little bubbles?
That's the part that we live in.
Those two little bubbles. What the hell
What is that? There's somebody out there playing drums?
Or a car, or somebody's hitting someone's car.
Wow, this neighborhood is out of control, huh?
Gee, I feel bad.
There's some weird stuff that happens in the city.
We see a lot of it.
I thought it was like island steel drums or something out there.
Yeah.
Maybe someone stole a catalytic converter and someone just took off. That's what happened.
No.
Oh, why would they need that?
Why do you need a catalytic converter, right?
It's like, it's personal reasons. I had special nights with that.
Yeah. I love Honda catalytics.
Oh, everyone who names their kids after cars.
They name their kid like Honda, Visan,
Toyota.
Toyota.
I'm not kidding. There's like people who
Porsche,
like Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes is popular.
Ben something. What is it?
Subaru. You name your kid that. Oh my
God. There was like
name your kid Jeep. Jeep.
But it's like naming your kid like after a. I don't know. That's a weird thing. Like but there was that thing on the internet.
People come up with like the weirdest names.
There's people who name their kids after video game characters.
You should name your kid Daimler Chrysler. because those are already somebody's names. So now you're just naming your kid somebody else's names. That's a car.
Oh my God.
I mean,
hey, come here, Daimler, Chrysler.
No, that's gonna happen with arm wrestling. People are gonna name their kids with the last name in their first name. Like your name is gonna be Devin Lorette Johnson.
Dude, the best names have last names as first names. Like Walker. Like your first name is Walker, and then your last name will be Johnson. I'm Walker Johnson. It's like, dude, that's two last names. What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Sounds like
that totally is.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's hilarious. But what was the last thing we were talking about? We're talking about
history of arm wrestling.
Yeah. So after wrist wrestling, where did we go from there?
Then they say it got more modern, like the table.
They went to the arm.
Table.
Because they used to
those circle pads. And they were like realizing.
But in wrist wrestling, they didn't even have pads. They had like towels still.
Yeah.
And they would hold each other's other hand in the middle, remember?
Yeah. And they say there's actually a lot of arm breaks. Yeah. And I feel like learned a lot from that when they saw that. Yeah. So they're like, okay, we learned what we're not going to do to try to get an arm break. So we're going to get all that and put on a table. But the first kind of table was a circle pad. Circle
like
pad.
A donut.
A donut table. Yeah. Cops would love it. Listen, even that Richard Lubke's guy, I looked it up, and he was even saying how he liked those tables. I don't know if he liked them better, but he liked them because his arm was so big, it would perfectly fit like a glove in there. He could just go in there and the table would hold for him, and then he would just like hold the people until they get. Exactly. So it was like a proto Kings move.
Well, that's like in the movie Over the Top. They had those donut horseshoe pads. So when you go to the back of the pad, your elbow would get stuck in the back of the donut.
Yeah.
So you know how like now the pads are just smooth and you could slip off.
Yeah.
Back in the Over the Top days, it was like a horseshoe donut. So it was like open in the front, but you can actually wedge your elbow into the back and it wouldn't come off. So there was no foul. You know what I'm saying?
I just realized
arm wrestling was really weird.
You probably, when you say it like that, that makes me think. I'm pretty sure back pressure shit was probably hard because you might pop out if you try to do that. And maybe
who knows? You know, we should try to buy one of those Over the Top tables so we could test it out, right?
Oh my God.
There's motherfuckers who own those goddamn tables. It says used in the movie.
You can buy it on eBay.
Yeah. Probably $10,000.
Oh, man. That would be crazy. And then modern arm wrestling, they said the techniques. I found out 2 places where the rumors of who invented top rolling, which is apparently the most modern of the techniques.
So what year are we talking about?
They think, I think it was, I want to say the 50s or the 60s.
That sounds right, because I think I've seen guys in the 60s top rolling already.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as extreme as it is now.
No, but they said there's 2 groups where they traced it back to, they think was either lumberjacks who did it, or it was a guy named Rick Vieres or whatever. It's a guy from Georgia. That's what they were saying on the message forum boards. They were saying those 2 groups probably invented or started it, but it wasn't even probably called top rolling back then. It might have just been something else, like just hand rolling or something. Yeah.
You know, I think they did use the word top roll, but it probably didn't mean exactly the same thing. But it still meant
like pressing. I heard was called shoulder rolling, shoulder roll.
Yeah, because your shoulder has to go into it.
I didn't even. Yeah, I was like, I looked up all these new things. And hooking, and then everyone's like that. I found out all the jokes about hooking and hookers, and that's why they have that like one club, you know, like with the beer guy,
the high hookers.
Yeah, and he's part of that beer dude.
Well, you know what's funny about that is when you guys were here last practice, I was looking at some of that footage, and we were trying to get you toward the end because like you guys were some of the last guys here, and Greg was here. And we were getting you guys to focus on flexion and hooking, right?
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about that whole hook maneuver? Is that something that you guys are going to be focusing on more?
I mean, we will whenever we come to practice. And if we ever get stuff to practice with besides people or tables or like...
I mean, I do really want... Like, I think that for the both of us, and I think also for myself, I want to try to increase my my hands, and you know, and
because all those guys are saying that we can't even. It's like
if I'm able to incorporate my bicep with my hands, then I feel that I can do a lot more.
Because they were saying that we're not even they're like keeping us from using our full power. Like they're saying that even with the hand thing, we'd have to get a better one to be able to use or get access to all of our full power or whatever. Because they say a lot of arm wrestling is preventing people from getting in their lane. And I realized when we arm wrestle, it's kind of weird because people, they don't even want to be in our lane.
Right.
Because everyone, they are like, oh, I want to flop too, or they want to try flopping too. And then they do it, but I guess because me and him are so used to it, it's like...
But you know what the ultimate trick is with you guys that people are figuring out already?
Yeah.
As soon as you guys go and you flop, people are just going, no. And then they'll fucking, instead of like re-gripping higher on you, they'll just grip low and they'll fucking go past your hand and they'll grab you by the fucking arm.
Yeah.
And then your hand will be
Back
out
pressure.
here and they'll be holding you
No,
here.
it felt like
and then they'll just fucking take you down from there because they're like,
happened.
stop it. They're like, I don't give a fuck about your flop shit.
No, but
That's
that
what
happened
people are
with
doing.
Peter. Actually, what happened with Peter. Peter was actually trying to press one of the dudes doing that back pressure shit, and he got it, but then he got a bleed. His fingers and his nose was like, oh my god, he looked like even on the oh my god, he looked like one of them. Like who's that dude with the hockey mask?
Jason.
Yeah.
You're saying I look like Jason?
Oh well, you don't have the mask, but the.
You mean he looked like he was covered in other people's blood?
Yeah,
or he looked like a hemophiliac.
No, because on the train,
it might have been both.
He was Jason the hemophiliac.
Both my hands were covered in blood,
Mhm.
so it looked like I basically murdered.
That looks good on the subway, yeah.
And then no one actually said anything
because this is New York.
They were probably
why would they?
I'm not going to judge him. It's his culture. I'm not going to judge him.
Dude,
if he's in the blood, that's his kink.
If you walk down the street and there was a headless guy spewing blood from his fucking carotid
people
artery,
would be like, no judgment here. It's
they'd
okay.
be like,
do your thing, man.
I got to go to work. I can't. I don't have time.
They're like,
for this.
as long as it's not affecting me, I don't care.
Yeah, no,
Just
because
keep it to yourself.
people love just living in their tiny little bubble because if it's not affecting them, they don't care.
The fastest way it doesn't affect you is if you walk faster.
Like we helped those two guys, and that could affect us. Like that Moldovan. We helped those people. One guy had to get to New Jersey. The other guy was like over there. And what if we didn't help them? Maybe they would have been, but we helped.
Hey, let me ask you this, because you guys said you wanted to talk about the culture of arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I realized about the culture of arm wrestling that I think I didn't think about it until now that you said it, right? So to me, the first thing I think of when I try to erase all my experience with friends and whoever comes to practice, new people and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I erase all that and I come back to what is arm wrestling and I talk to people who don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
What's the culture of arm wrestling? Well, the culture of arm wrestling is like low life, white trash in a bar, right?
Yeah.
Scumbag type people with no money who live in a bar practically, and it's just like scumbag stuff. And then on top of that, it's like brutes, big.
Wait, James is talking about this.
So the culture isn't that like,
yeah.
Because like when you're talking about like the Roman army and shit like that, like
that sounds proper and like formal.
But now
how did we
arm
devolve
wrestling?
into...
It's like one level below WWE, right? Except it's
actually it is.
Yeah.
It is becoming WWE. Even the way like they're doing all these like modern weigh-ins, like I was saying, like the YouTubers are getting in. It's kind of like WD.
But in America only. Like in Europe, it's not like that.
No, they're way more like treat it like a job.
So I'm wondering if maybe the European culture of arm wrestling is the thing that needs to be the forward representation.
We got to take the example from those
because
guys.
the Americans are not really. I mean, in a way, the Americans are like considered cool to other countries, but not in arm wrestling. I don't think. I think in Europe, they make fun of American
arm wrestling.
Yeah, because it's like a big joke. It's like this big WWE kind of scumbag bar bullshit, right?
Yeah, because when you're arm wrestling, like especially people from Europe, they are very strong people.
Yeah, and they're disciplined, so they take it seriously and they don't screw around. And they take it really seriously. What were you going to say, Arie?
I was going to say he was calling.
Huh?
Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
Call back, not yet.
What he's calling you?
Yeah.
Oh.
What
do you think he has to say?
I'm going to call you on speaker. I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah, put him on speaker. Let's hear what Jack has to say.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Hi, Jack.
I changed my phone, and I somebody want to come over there, and I don't remember. I know how to get to where we're going, but I don't remember what is it?
Yeah.
What number is it? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call the guy and tell him to meet us over there. I'm driving over there. There's a lot of traffic from here from Long Island.
Got it.
So I'll be there. Okay, I'll see you over there. I'll bring you to church.
Oh, thank you.
I'll see you then.
Got it.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.
We can keep it in.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. So Jack will be here later.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And he was at the bar, and you even said the Staten Island, so when you say, because I might have seen them, because there's so many people you mentioned, like even that other guy, Petros or whatever, and we got to say hi to some of these people, because I feel bad.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't talk to Petros.
We could have talked about, like, olives and yogurt and
I know, you guys need to Greek it up.
We got to, like,
Oikos and whatnot,
we
right?
got to be like,
Feta cheese.
yeah,
right?
like spinach pies.
Right.
We got to,
I mean, I think that maybe that's where, like, I feel like I get the whole serious thing from. Maybe
Oh,
I
no.
get
Don't
it.
say it from 300.
I mean, no. But no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, because I've noticed that a lot of, like, with arm wrestling, I don't know what it is. I mean, I do, like, with anyone that I arm wrestle, I would want to try to do the best I can with whoever I'm facing, no matter if I win or lose. Oh my God.
Regardless?
Regardless of the outcome.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, it's like the pronunciation. So, but basically, listen, it's fun. I mean, it's like the same feeling when I used to do track.
no,
thing.
dude. So that's a very important point that you make right there, because a lot of people who are really strong and really good at it because they've been in high school and college, let's say, and they're a little older, they'll like totally not arm wrestle because they're worried that they're not going to win, and then wow,
are they going to worry because they're going to lose their win?
They don't want to lose ever. Yeah. So like when you're used to winning all the time, you equate arm wrestling with winning, so now you can't lose. Otherwise,
but you'll never get better.
You'll be devastated if you lose. So
No,
you don't have that. You don't have that problem at all.
I mean, for me, I really don't care about winning or losing. It's the fact that every time when I arm wrestle someone, that if I'm able to hold someone who is probably maybe a lot times bigger than me, if I'm able just to hold that strength and then eventually surpass it one day, then I think that would be my satisfying or just like a satisfying thing to for me personally. For me, I would just want to just try to get as strong as possible, and just to being the best person I can be. I don't care about winning or losing. It's a matter of the experience.
Think of it like running.
Yeah.
So
you did track,
and you've run before, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're just going to practice running. You're not running a race when you're practicing. So you're running to get better, and you're just running to enjoy it. So I look at arm wrestling that same way. So when you enter a tournament, it's different.
Yeah.
You win or you lose, but it's up to you whether or not you're going to be devastated by it, right?
I mean, really, for anything you do, if it's running, if it's arm wrestling, the only thing is the thing that is most important is the experience that you get from all these events that you go to, and it trains your body to get used to that environment. Like how, like at first when I was taking the training with Arie, serious with doing the arm wrestling, at first in the beginning I was feeling pains, but then over time I don't feel those pains anymore. And that, for me, even if I'm able to at least hold someone for just a few minutes, if I'm able to do that, then I'm fine with it. That just shows that I've gotten, because you get a little stronger every time when you do something, when you keep You don't have to overdo something, but if you just keep doing it, if you don't give up, and if you know in your head, you got to say to yourself that you can do it. Because if you just have that second thought in your head saying, nah, no, because you gotta sometimes do what you feel you can do. And like for me, when I arm wrestle someone, I don't care if someone's bigger than me. I'd still want to try to push them, even if I may not have a chance of winning sometimes. If I'm able to fight back, even, because I know I'm not going to lose in the mid-second, but if I'm able just to hold them, that pressure for just at least a minute or two, that proves to me that I've gotten a little bit stronger every day.
You said push. I thought of some. It's kind of weird in arm wrestling. I realized that most people in arm wrestling, I've noticed they're pulling.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not pulling. We're pushing.
I mean,
so maybe that's why it feels different.
Yeah, well, if you guys are pushing and not pulling,
imagine they call it pushing, John.
Then you're actually doing it 100% wrong.
Oh,
so if you really realize that you guys are pushing and not pulling, then you guys need to just switch it and do pulling.
Yeah.
And leave the pushing part for when you need it, which is in a rare circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like sometimes I'll go back.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go close. I
guess it's like.
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's probably why people like Patrick Baffa are like, you guys are no, because he realizes that you're pushing all the time. I think that's what it is.
No, I think that mostly he just didn't like the whole flopping thing.
Yeah, but that's because it's also the pushing. It's like you're flopping and pushing, and it's like that's almost to him. It's like
stockpiling.
Two things done wrong or something.
It's like pancakes and syrup.
But there is something that you were talking about, Peter, that I want to come back to. So never give up, right? So that's a very important thing.
Yeah,
you hear Devin Larratt say that all the time, and it's true. When you're in a match, never give up, right? So don't give up when everyone is rooting for you. But in practice, it's a totally different thing. That's not how you do it. So you never give up in practice, but in a different way. So in practice, when you're here in the middle and you go, whether someone gives you a ready go or you just do it instinctively without saying ready go, I say never give up ever when the two of you are still in this middle area.
Yeah.
But once, let's say your arm gets somewhere down here, then I say immediately give up. Always give up.
Yeah,
always.
I was going to say, James was also talking about that because I remember he was saying for work, he's saying the best workout he gets is if you're here and you're trying to fight back to this position, or if you're in the middle and you're just trying to battle from even getting into that red zone.
Like sometimes when you see me arm wrestle, even if I'm here or there, like even like the matches that I had with Arie, like even if like he does like pushes me all the way here, I'll still try to resist.
Oh, you'll climb
if you can, But if you can't, you just got to let it go.
Yeah. Like even if I know, and at the end of the day, if I'm gonna win or lose, I'd still want to just give it my all, even if I know I'm not gonna. I just want to just show that.
Oh, you want to know you didn't say
that I didn't just
your
quit.
Punches.
Yeah, that I didn't just quit. That I at least gave it everything I had.
No, because I feel like sandbagging against the other guy would be an insult to them. Because if you're not trying, I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sandbagging, because whenever someone says sandbagging, first thing comes to my mind is Lachlan Adair, right?
Yeah.
Because
the Australian dude.
He's been sandbagging Ryan Bowen, right?
Well, that's why Ryan Bowen,
though. That's why Ryan thinks he's so good.
And then it got to the point he thought he could stop Levon.
Right.
In practice.
And it's almost like, is this some big conspiracy to get Ryan to think he's going to be number one?
Oh, and then
in the
when
world?
He was practicing with Todd and John, he also thought he was going to be, I'm like, I practiced with them. Oh, geez.
Right.
Oh, Sheila. I'm like, I'm going to be the 95.
Yeah.
Zloty.
These freaking guys that they think.
And he said, I'm going to be the best redhead arm wrestler. You got to get past Todd and Jerry. Because I didn't even know that Jerry guy was redhead. And I was like, oh my God.
No, because there's like all those people that think that, because they've been doing it for so many years, they like that one old guy who thought, you were doing this, so
that was
got pissed off.
Nitro.
Yeah, not
He
Nitro.
was. He
I
was
mean,
upset.
like like people like that, and like other people who've been doing the sport for so many years. Listen, I get it. They've been doing it for so long, and that's understandable. But like, if there's people with new types of ways of arm wrestling,
Well, we're not. Do you think there's going to ever be a new style? Like,
I
what
mean,
if people
listen,
make down pressure?
new things
or
could
something?
come in the future. Who knows?
Down
Maybe some
pressure
people
or,
will
like,
invent new ways of arm
Up
wrestling.
pressure. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just.
I mean,
Well, those already exist.
They're just.
yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, for me, I would say that whoever's arm wrestling, they should do what they are comfortable with.
You know what
You
I'm
know,
realizing?
that's
I
it.
wonder what arm wrestling in like those other countries are like though. Like, because we always talk about like Russia and
Yeah.
how they do it, and they're like, military. But I always wonder how do like what it's like. You know how there's states people don't talk about, like who talks
Yeah.
about South Dakota or who talks about like whatever. But what are countries that people don't talk about that probably have some crazy arm wrestling that we don't?
there are probably other countries, that we don't talk about, and they have probably
arm
have
wrestling
their
that could
own
just
like
come up off the
different
scene.
styles that maybe we don't even know about.
That they don't have YouTube and they don't have.
Yeah.
What if they're like arm wrestling in like their freaking basement or their attic, and they're like, "I've invented it, the
Yeah.
ultimate."
I don't know. I think arm wrestling, the more I look at it, and I've been watching it for about 2 years now, that's a long time to be watching arm wrestling. And by then, after 2 years of watching arm wrestling and being really into it, I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to come up with anything new. I feel like everyone's done everything already. What's going to happen is someone is going to be different because every person is different.
Yeah.
And they're going to move different on the table. I think that's what it is. So it's going to have to do with their speed. I think speed is a really big factor.
People
So
gonna get faster.
the faster people can get,
Oh,
and then I think it's going to be more about the implementation of speed in certain
like
movements.
speed kills.
So like speed, you say fast. The first thing after you think about speed is you have to think about speed in which direction and what movement, right? So then there's so many different movements that you can apply the speed to. So
Oh yeah.
the probability is like off the charts. So I think that's where the new stuff is going to happen in arm
Oh,
wrestling.
that's gonna be cool.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody's really going to come up with any new mechanics
Unless
of
they
the
change
arm.
the
I
table
feel
again.
like
You think they'll change the table again?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say because even that, when I think about it, you got the two extremes. You got the rigid, let's say the WAF version table, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody uses.
Yeah.
And then you have the other extreme, which is like the Japanese arm sumo or freedom
oh my
table.
God, dude, those guys when they do it, it's like they're like, oh my God, they like go freaking.
So
kamikaze
maybe if you're talking about freedom tables or Japanese arm sumo tables, maybe there's going to be different movements.
mode. Yeah.
So like, yeah, if I had another table, I'd probably build it myself and make it a
Didn't you also talk about
freedom
that?
table.
One day you wanted to find like a public place.
Oh yeah,
You talked about
I
that.
do want to go around the neighborhood and see if there's like public installations where we could just do freedom.
I mean, we could do that because if we just wear like, because actually the funny thing is that's the reason people are like, I've noticed when a lot of people arm wrestle with their shirt on. I mean, okay, I said that wrong. But when they arm wrestle, like, and they don't have their like elbows covered. I remember there's one time when I came with James, my elbow was kind of, I like cut my elbow or whatever from one of the pads on those.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. Your
But
skin
it's
gets-
on certain tables because you know why? At the tournament, the Empire Arms, they had like WAL looking tables because those were the fanciest tables I'd ever seen. Like the material, like the way they looked.
Yep.
Like those to this day are still. Well, I mean, I will say your octopus table's fancy, but they were like different. It was like they looked kind of like wall tables. So like they didn't fuck up my elbow.
Yeah, your elbow won't get fucked up if you chalk it. But if it's
Chalk your elbow.
yeah, if you don't have chalk
I've never
on your
seen
elbow
that. Oh shit.
and your elbow gets a little stuck to the pad and you move really fast, it'll rip the skin off. And then it'll feel like you scraped it.
To me.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple times.
I
But if that doesn't happen to you, it's because you don't move your fucking elbow fast because you just stand there. So
I think he's
So if you don't, when on the go, if you're not going like this and fucking
actually that's the thing
really fast, then you'll never.
I
want to
say he always lets people go first. That's his thing. He wants to.
I just want to see if I can hold them.
Yeah, his thing.
So
is
you're
like,
Mr. Holding pattern.
So basically, my goal is
you need to learn to fucking do the opposite, bro. You need to become offensive.
That's what they told you. They said, imagine
Yeah, no. I mean, for me, I just want to.
You need to learn how to strike first.
Oh, just like
no mercy.
If you did that with arm wrestling,
Yeah,
you could. There's a lot of when I was seeing that, there's a lot of parallels
because that's what everyone's gonna do to you. Every person that you get on a table with, they're gonna strike first with no mercy. So,
what do you think he's gonna go to high school and just arm wrestle all the people? It's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're 25. What the? Oh my god! It's like I don't even go here. Am I even supposed to? Okay, I'm sorry, Pete.
No,
but let's get back to the history and culture. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I was also gonna say like, oh god, I gotta look at his thing. Because, I mean, listen, my memory, I got to remember the notes. Just basically, I mean, you can even look at it, like, check it out. Like, look, there's so many pictures and, like, hieroglyphs and, like, ancient, like, I guess maybe, I guess they think that when they first did wrestling, because I guess wrestling came first, they're like, how do we isolate wrestling? So people who aren't normally, I guess, good at wrestling, let's see if they're, I'm saying that, like, let's see what other kind of wrestling they can do. Like, 'cause there's foot wrestling. You can, I even tried leg wrestling with you.
Yeah.
Remember that one time where we crossed legs and we hooked legs? And we were like seeing,
basically,
our rules of the game was like, who's going to pull the other guy off of the chair?
Basically we would, what Arie said, we would lay down on the floor and we would strap our legs together.
Imagine that was more exciting, and that's all we did here.
This kind of sounds like something that one guy records.
It's like leg wrestling.
Yeah.
Instead of arm wrestling, it's with legs.
So imagine tonight everybody comes over here to just leg wrestle.
No, they put they go up on the table like in like an Indian sitting kind of way. And they chalk up their like knees.
Yeah. My God. Yeah, that would be interesting, huh?
I mean, you can find different types of wrestling. Like there's arm wrestling, leg wrestling, maybe.
Or you can also, what was that other one we did where it was like You
guys think Patrick Baffa will leg wrestle you?
No. He's like, no, you guys. He's probably.
Ah, damn it.
He's probably listen. He will. He will like the Russians. Because, I think he's cool with those guys. But we're just some squares.
Right.
We're just like randos. Like,
So you think in secret Patrick Baffa's hanging out
like a secret
Alex Toprol and they're leg wrestling.
Yeah, and they have all, dude, imagine it's like a fucking
like a cult or something.
Yeah, like it's a cult. Like
a freaking arm wrestling cult and they have their own secret handshake.
And like you have to do the dad handshake.
That's right.
Or it's like,
what the hell are you doing, Sonny?
Yeah, well, back to you guys, and that's what everyone's gonna dad move you. If you guys always flop, they're just gonna and a dad move you, and it's over.
Yeah,
and that's when you guys are gonna be like, "Fuck,
we gotta get.
We need to get a hand.
I can't buy his hand. I gotta get my own."
Yeah, no. So that's.
I know. I've actually seen. There was a video I saw of a dude with one hand. He only had his like left or his right hand. He was only arm wrestling with one hand, so he was by default doing the pumpkin way of the giant apple.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, he's like Popeye on one arm. He was like Zoc Oleg if he only had one. And that funny thing is that guy won. Even though everyone's like, oh, he's not going to come back from this. He had a car accident. His brain got jingled around. But he came back and he won his thing. And people are like, oh my God, he's back. Who is it? So, I mean, even like, goal I want you to do one day. You know that show Tosh? You know Tosh?
Tosh Porno, yeah. I know
He has an arm wrestling table. And he had the Jeff Dave on his show. I hope one day if you ever get web redemption for your freaking crazy arm wrestling crap with that Jules guy, that's something you got to do if he's got that thing still. Oh my!
That would be pretty cool. And then Tosh just
or the bottom
flies
eight.
me
No.
to
Or the bottom eight if you get fly there too. If the bottom eight
Yeah,
ever
let's
happens.
let's talk about the bottom eight. What's going on with that right now?
Bottom eight, it was supposed to happen with Larry and Juji Mufu and that weird camera weirdo. But
Who's the camera weirdo?
he was a guy.
Juji's camera guy?
He had a lot of problems and issues.
Yeah,
oh
that
my
guy.
god. Yeah. He was supposed to arm
Tom.
wrestle his son.
Tom.
He was supposed to arm wrestle Devin's son, but one of his sons broke their arms.
Right.
You know, that happened. And then John Brzezink's like, oh, he's going to be better than you soon. But then there was a thing Devin said that I thought about, which is weird, but I looked into the medical stuff, and you might be right. There's a thing where they're saying if you break your arm, but you get like implants, he thinks, or his theory is, it's not going to recover the same way. Because they're saying that there's this, one of the Georgian arm wrestlers who was at that Dubai event. What's his name? He fought the guy who went Super Mario mode. Like, who's the Georgian guy? Oh, God. Whatever. The Georgian guy was at the Dubai event. They're saying the reason he lost is because... Well,
talking about Gennady?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're saying he had a bunch of crazy forearm injuries where it affected his hand or his wrist or whatever. And they're saying that's why he lost.
Mm-hmm.
But the Devin thing is he thinks that whoever has to get like those crazy like metal rods or implants in their arm is that your arm won't get the same like heal up back if you don't get it. And it made me think about Pete because he broke it, but he didn't break it from arm wrestling, and he didn't break it in his funny bone. He broke it in his bionicle like bone or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't have no metal things in it.
Yeah, no, but that healed on its own.
So
It
I'm
took
like,
a
for the
year, but
people
it
who
healed
aren't
on
lucky
its
to
own,
get that, I'm like, or I'm not saying lucky. I'm saying now,
Well, the way you guys arm wrestle and the way you guys train, you guys look like your fucking elbows are made out of rubber.
Oh,
so.
it's funny. That's what those guys were like. Those guys were like, like freaking stomping the yard on and shit. But they were like, wow, your elbows, like, holy crap, this shit.
Yeah, because you have to have really strong elbows for the sport. So you guys have that.
But we don't have the strong part.
Well, the positions that you guys get in, it looks like your arms should break every
I think that's
time.
the reason why we're good in those lanes, though. It's because nobody wants to go in those lanes. So it's not that we're better than them. It's just that they're not used to that.
Well, here's what it is. When you guys get in that position, but the other person stays in their lane,
Yeah.
then it's not doing you any favors.
Yeah.
The trick is when you're in that position, because you want to be, you have to get the other person in an awkward position too. Because if they just stay where they are and you're in the fucking weirdo position, the only guy who's going to break their arm is you. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like it's freaking chess or checkers. That's another thing. Everyone's obsessed with chess. That's like the new thing.
don't know,
Everyone
like,
and their uncles like,
It's because of that TV show.
Even if I'm here or there, I mean, as I said, I don't like. I think that we've been doing it
you can be
so
here or
much.
there, but just look at your hand.
Yeah,
Please.
like even though we've been doing it, I think so much to the point where I'm so used to it.
But most people, listen, most
Yeah.
people aren't lucky like that. They don't have a
Yeah.
brother, same age, and they don't have like, we're willing to do all that crazy stuff because they'll be like, at the most, you got to realize when people train on their own, they're training with like crazy, like the Russian guys' equipment. They're training with all those, like, they're training at their jobs. They're probably like trying to like lift up the carts at their job at the store, or they're like trying to pronate or supinate with stuff at their job.
Yeah, I never pronate, But, there's a really interesting thing that I never heard anybody say this until a couple practices ago.
Yeah.
I heard Lorenzo saying it, where he was explaining to somebody how to move on a table. And he said it so easily. He said, just think of like when you're driving. So when you're driving and you're holding the steering wheel,
Right.
what are you doing?
Oh.
You're doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're just on the table like you're driving, that's how you arm wrestle.
I guess.
And it's that simple. So
NASCAR
imagine you're holding the
drivers
steering wheel
Oh, my God.
and you're just turning.
Imagine if NASCAR is like Oh, that's what I want to talk about too. Did you ever hear the thing about I remember Devin was getting interviewed and he was talking about who are the best random arm wrestlers, and they were talking about like, because even John got asked this by Larry, and they were like, who's the best random arm wrestlers? And they were talking about baseball players and rock climbers. A weird conversation Devin had was that he was talking to this other Canadian guy, and they were talking about
Baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. But they were talking about, he thought that models were the best random arm wrestlers. He said models. I know. I was like, what? And then the other guy was like, "Oh, I think it's that, but I think it's adult film people are the best arm wrestlers at that." That's what they said. I'm not kidding.
Now we're getting crazy. I think it's tennis players, man. Because
that's what that kid said, dude. The guy in the green, hoodie.
Yeah.
Tennis. And guess what? The funny thing is that Ryan Bowen, he says he was a tennis guy too. It's just like all like,
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
So what else is going on in the bottom 8?
Oh yeah, listen. There was a bunch of people, and you can go back in Devin's videos. There was at least 6 or 4 people announced, because I don't think he got to all of them before when the whole Corona thing happened, that he was getting in spots and people like, he was like looking for people to be in it. Because the thing with bottom 8 is it's not the best, it's the worst of the best. So you're like beta prime. You're like, you're like the best, alpha beta.
It's the best of the worst.
Yeah, like a lesser of evil. So they also want the most like that John Dabo guy. He got invited to that. He got invited. Who else?
Yeah, well, he's got bottom 8 written all over him.
Oh god.
Yeah.
He's got And and that's why I think Jules is gonna get invited, because Devin and him, he's like, oh my god, I can't believe
Jules is the guy with the weird angles, right?
Oh my, there's videos, you can look it up. Jules Reddit coach. He's got some crazy shit. But that's the weird thing. And when he saw his stuff, I was surprised, because I was like, I didn't think, for me, I thought the stuff he was doing looked weirder or stranger. And then he saw him and he's like, oh my God, I wouldn't even do that. He's like, there's a special place in hell. I'm like, whoa.
Well, we're going to have a practice today, and it's probably going to be a lot of people here today. So what are you guys going to do? Like, what do you, Peter, what's your plan for today's practice? And you're probably going to meet up people you haven't pulled before with.
So, I mean, for me, I don't care win or lose. It's more of
it's just practice.
Yeah.
So like, how are you going to approach your?
What are you going to do?
I think I'm just going to feel their hand and see all the different strengths that are going to be in the practice, and try to, face whoever's there, and just simply gain that experience. So then that way, the next time, over time, I just get better and better.
I think what's interesting about you guys, that no one really said it out loud, because maybe we don't really think about you guys that deeply as analyzing like what you guys should do. So what I notice is you guys never pull outside. You guys are not outside pullers.
Well,
you guys are inside all the time.
It's gonna sound,
but you're flopping, right? So here's what the problem is.
Yeah.
If you never go outside, because you're never going like this, and you're never top rolling, right? But you're always inside. You know what the number one inside move is? The hook. So you know what else you guys never do is hook. So if you guys don't want to go outside and you guys want to go inside, then you guys should start hooking all the time, and you guys should just do hook.
I'd rather do that than top, because I think hooking.
I think you'll be natural with the hook because you'll be in.
It seems funner. Like, because it's gonna sound weird. The reason,
well, it's more official.
Yeah, it's just like the reason me and Pete, because I think we kind of talked about the other people. We were saying it just feels funner to hook or press. It just feels fun. Like it feels like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
top rolling. It's like,
I think we just basically just do whatever we feel comfortable. Like depending on who, I guess we're facing. Like if they're like the same, if they look like the same, like weight as us, or if they're bigger. I guess it like depends on who you're facing. So I actually wouldn't mind doing like a hook. And I've done that sometimes. To Arie.
You know what you guys need? Have you guys ever pulled Shiyu?
No, that's what I told him.
So the next time Shiyu comes here, if he's here and you guys are here, maybe he'll be here today. I don't know. He's the guy. You'll never move him.
Yeah.
You'll never beat him.
Yeah.
So what happens? Yeah. What happens is when you pull with Shiyu, you know what happens? It's a come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus.
So what happens is Shiyu gets you, and then immediately he just goes, no. And then you look at him like, what? And he goes, no. And then he tells you what to do. And then guess what? God. It's not comfortable. It's awkward because you don't do it, and you need to learn and train that. And then he shows you, do this. Do it like this. Okay, now this. Yeah. Okay, now more like that. And then he holds you because you're not going to be able to move him an inch.
Oh man.
And then he's going to be like, no, not like that. And then he's going to sit there and he's going to make you do the thing that you never do because you want to be comfortable.
Right.
Which gets you nowhere, okay?
Yeah.
And I think what you guys need is to have that Shiu moment.
Oh, God.
And you guys haven't had that yet. And I think a lot of guys who don't have patience on the table, they don't fuck with you and they don't want to talk to you and they want you off.
That happens a lot.
Get out of here.
Well, that's happened a few times. Even like in like we have like a thing where it's like a King of the Hill kind of thing, like where, you know, or like King of the Table thing where you're like, get on, get off the table. They're just like, oh, you guys, you can watch. Just like watch, stay back. This is what you should be doing.
I mean,
so maybe if we like, we'll get into the cool. It's like the SpongeBob thing, Weenie Hut Juniors. We're like, oh, super weak.
And then there's that one guy who says like, how, you know, how tough are you or something?
I'm so.
How tough am I?
Oh man, the impression.
I don't know.
The whole thing about arm wrestling is how tough are you, right?
Oh my.
Yeah.
No, but it's like I said, it's a really weird scene. Like I see the same people in a place that I don't think I'd ever see outside of an arm wrestling thing. Like when I'm looking at arm wrestling, I'm like, that guy, I don't know if he should be here, but am I the judge or that guy? Does he look like he's here? I'm like,
I mean,
those guys are on the table together. This looks really.
Here's the thing, like you can look at a person. Sometimes they look strong, but then you look at other people and you can say, listen, looks are deceiving because someone can look not strong, but then when you face them, that's when
it's like
they can have very strong
I've seen
tendons
videos of like,
and they can be strong inside, but you don't realize it, you know?
No, but I realize even outside arm wrestling is a weird kind of strength because you also need to be strong. Like those Russian dudes were also saying like when they were doing that back pressure shit, they were canceling out all our moves.
Yeah.
So that's also you have to be strong, but you just got to be strong going that way.
Yeah. So when you guys do your flop, the move that cancels you guys out is a defensive top roll.
Yeah.
So basically, when you guys go and do your thing, all you have to do is this.
Yeah.
And then it's over. So what you guys need to do is you guys need to learn the defensive top roll.
Yeah. I mean, I also want to learn the hook thing. If there's like a defensive hook or like a high hook or a... you guys should be only hooking in all the different ways. You guys have to become hookers. I want to,
A couple of hookers.
Yeah, but
we're gonna do
at the truck stop.
You know, like just like imagine you're just like 3 a.m.
Why?
And then you're just like,
descriptive?
and then you're just
it's like a bathroom
you're just
and
like
there's,
on like the side of the road.
No,
out
of the hole comes a hand,
and then people are paying you to hook them.
No, out of the glory comes a hand instead. It's like a big hand.
Yeah,
it's like yeah.
I'll give you $50 if you can hook me.
I'll give you a hook, sweetheart, or something.
I'll tell you, that's gonna
like what the heck?
That's gonna be your next reality, like that fucking dude that picked you guys up in the truck and took about the fluoride.
Yeah,
dude. Every time you guys talk about some shit, it becomes real.
He literally told us he was like opening his window. He's like rolling it up. He's like desperate. He's like, hey guys, I need to get here and I got to get to the plant. And then he was telling us because he was like, I got to put fluoride in the water. I'm like,
and then he offered us a ride. And this was today. Yeah.
I know. I mean, dude,
and we went over. Oh my.
You got your truck stop hooker days are beginning.
Imagine he injected us with fluoride instead.
Yeah, I know. You guys, we were just talking about the fluoride stare, and then today you guys meet a guy who was putting fluoride in the water. How crazy is that?
Because Arie asked, do you put fluoride in the water? And he says yes.
No, absolutely.
Shit. I thought he was just gonna be like, that's a conspiracy. That's some nut job. I was like, yeah, we do that all the time. I'm like,
oh shit!
That's not. I don't feel. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he was like, and we do it to calcify your third eye, your pineal gland, right?
Oh my god, the DMT! I can't have it anymore. You can't have GMT. No more good dreams for you.
We're gonna have to start getting ready for practice. So, what else do you guys want to talk about when we wrap this up?
I also wanted to say a little. I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to say some things about supplements quick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I want to clarify some things from the last time.
Oh yeah, sure.
Listen. I just want to make, listen, because I want to say about inflammation, how not all inflammation is bad. Some inflammation is good. And that, like, when you take painkillers in arm wrestling, and like Tony was doing that, I think he was I don't know if he was joking or not, but he was like, he was taking painkillers. And I was like, oh man, because I'm like, you're going to lose some of your stuff. Like, don't, because how much does that practice really? And then everyone's always like, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I was also going to say with the other stuff I was talking about last week about like there's a bunch of supplements that are arm wrestling specific because it's not just about joints and ligaments and all that. It's also about your what's that thing called? There's two kinds. No. There's isometric or static strength, and there's another one, constricting strength.
Concentric.
Yeah, that one too. Those are really important.
Yeah.
Those two I think are really important for arm wrestling. There's a lot of supplements to help with that. And it goes back to even like the ancient times, because we're saying the history of arm wrestling. It's also like the history of supplements. Because in the olden days, like I looked up, in your town they have all these crazy traditions that all these people buy. Like they buy all these superfoods from all these ancient cultures. And it's ironic how, in like the city, all these people care about organic and natural, but they live in the concrete jungle, which is like, I think the opposite, like the yin and yang of organic or natural. But like you always want to make sure you're getting like your, not like Hulk Hogan with your vitamins and your minerals, but you do want to get your natural stuff. That's why it's like if you have to choose out of the greater evils of like, this is the rule of thumb. Like people like tuna, they don't realize how big tuna is, and that's why there's metal in it and all that. Or like bluefin tuna is the most rarest and pure tuna. Or how if you have to choose like to get your vitamins from a liver thing, I'd rather people do instead of like, well, make sure you know where your liver's coming from. Or if you're getting instead of shark liver, if you don't want the AKG or the squalene, because squalene's an olive oil, you go to cod liver oil or halibut liver oil because that's got vitamin A and vitamin D. And it's natural because if you look at a supplements bottle, it says like vitamin A is palmate and that's synthetic. Or
well, why wouldn't you just take krill oil instead of?
Oh, I want to say about krill oil. The greatest thing about krill oil, it's a hack. Mm-hmm. Krill oil is so far apparently the THAD or the sigma of the omegas because it's popular because it's phospholipids and it's got anastaxin. I'm pronouncing that wrong. And it's very clean because it's so small. Like the way they are, like it's very small on the food chain. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, if you go to smaller and smaller fish, they don't live long enough. Like they say that about squid oil. That's actually a thing. It's got high in DHA and it's very clean because of its lifespan and how big it is. Because they say based, and the thing is, all these aquatic things, they didn't have metals in them. The only reason they got them now in modern times, because back in the olden days, people used to milk shark liver and cod liver in like the Viking, Scandinavia, snow people lands. And that was like a pastime for those people. But it's because of coal-fired plants. Because that stuff goes up in the sky, it comes in the ocean, plankton and all the microalgae eat it, and then there's organic and non-organic. So when they eat it and it goes through them, it changes.
Well, don't forget the microplastics.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, that's another reason why people, they don't like eating. But then there's like benefits to raw. No, there's all these different diets. Like people are afraid though, because they're arguing that, if you eat like fish, that they've been in the water and that's where all that stuff is and all the atrazine and the chemicals.
Well, I've read that every single day we eat an entire credit card of plastic.
You know those receipts you have in your pocket? It goes through your stuff and you're getting it.
That's like a xenoestrogen on those things. So when you handle those receipts every single day, let's say if you work there, you're getting xenoestrogens.
But a way to avoid that with supplements is you can check, and some companies, they don't always do this. You can check two things: where they say where it's sourced and it's trackable, and they have something called the PCB limit or the Prop 56 thing. I found out what that was. There's a certain parts per billion or trillion of how much stuff you're allowed in a thing, and they got to test it to make sure it's approved. But, and it goes back to the NAC thing because they banned that. But they're also talking about now they want to go in further and ban even more things like glutathione or
all the good stuff.
Yeah, they want to ban, there's another one, SOD, superoxide dismutase, and that's a crazy one. But all these crazy ass antioxidants. But listen, it's like with arm wrestling, like it's crazy. Like, how Michael Todd, and he talks about his pumps, like that's omega-6. That's pro-inflammatory. When you want to re-obtain those first-time arm wrestling pains, if you feel like you've plateaued and you're not getting that pain because pain is gain and all that, you take It's arachnic acid. It's called arachnic acid, like Spider-Man. Oh god. But it's like an omega-6 and it gives you those like junk food pumps.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's a thing they don't
Why would you do that?
Pro-inflammatory, because the thing is your body, there's a whole theory with arm wrestling. Like,
yeah, but omega-6 is like poison to the body when you have too much of it. It gives you insulin resistance and heart disease.
Yeah, but I found out that's the thing. It's bad for that, but for the arm wrestling, and that's why I don't think that's a way of getting stronger, like putting yourself through more pain to get stronger. It's like, what was the thing in that show with, you know what I'm talking, who's that guy, the Vegeta guy, and he's putting himself through more pain instead of training to get better. He's just getting stronger because of every time, you're close to death, but you come back from it, you just get stronger.
Are you talking about when...
What's that boost? Is it
It's like a Kai boost.
A Zen Kai?
A Zen Kai. It's basically like when a Saiyan goes from the bleak of death, like if he's going to almost die. And
then he comes back.
And then you revive him, he becomes like 10 times stronger than he was before. And it's
like Highlander. What do they call that? The quickening?
Oh my God.
It's like when you're from the brink of death and then you come back.
No, but instead of the way of training to get stronger, it's just torturing yourself to get stronger. And I feel like maybe we're guilty of that in both ways. Like,
well, in the beginning, I think in the first 3 to 6 months, the torture is necessary. But then after that, all you got to do is take it easy, but train every week at least. I think that's the smart way to do it. And then the pros, I think you guys are talking about the pros.
Yeah.
The pros like Michael Todd, like... You can never go by what they're doing because they're always going to do some crazy shit.
Also, another thing is they changed. Michael Todd now does what Devin used to.
Yeah, well, what does that mean? That he stopped doing deadlifts and...
No, he stopped being a gym guy.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like he's not doing the fucking powerlifting anymore.
No, and you know why Devin changed? He only changed because this Russian guy with a weird eye thing who was talking about the schools of mitochondria and the AMPK and the... CoQ10 and the PQQ. He's talking about all this crazy stuff with mitochondria.
Right.
And how ATP with like, it was like, oh, well, you have to have all this energy and the pumps. And he now goes by that like scientific stuff of arm wrestling. And
so why did that make him cut the gym stuff out?
Because he thought the gym stuff was going to be like, oh, I can't do that anymore. I had a calcified elbow. They took like 2 golf balls worth of bone out of my elbow. And he's saying like, and it's ironic because now Michael Todd does that, and he's saying he's never been stronger, so it's working for him, but it's not working for him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, so that means what? The ATP, CoQ10, all that stuff, because he's too tired from the gym lifting, so he can't do the arm wrestling, right? Isn't that what it comes down to?
Yeah.
Because the other thing that you just reminded me of with the CoQ10 and the ATP and all that shit, that all takes place in your liver. The mitochondrial energy function. And what's funny is everyone who goes to the doctor and has high cholesterol and the doctor puts them on statins, what the doctor never tells you is the way statins work is it blocks that pathway. So it blocks the coenzyme Q10 pathway and it lowers your cholesterol. But you know what else it does? It destroys your ATP. So what happens is when you're on statins, your testosterone goes down because you don't make cholesterol.
Yeah.
And then your muscles are too tired because they're missing ATP. And then, so you're always sore and tired because you're on statins. And then after a while, if you're on statins for a really long time, you know what else gets fucked up? Your heart, because it's a muscle. So eventually, if you're on statins for too long, you end up with an enlarged heart because it's working too hard. So statins fuck you up.
I was also going to say there's another thing I just got reminded of too. They were saying another theory I've noticed that Leo guy and Artem have, they don't believe in the tendon ligament stuff with arm wrestling. They don't believe.
What do you mean?
They think the reason why people get strong at arm wrestling is because their theory is related to how when you do arm wrestling when you're younger, that your nerves get built like muscle memory. They believe in the muscle memory theory of arm wrestling, how you break in your nerves, like your twitch fibers and your slow twitches and your fast twitches, like the stuff that sports guy got banned on that thing for talking about it, the differences. But they were saying how they believe it's the mind-body connection. Like they're thinking it's your brain-body connection, that like the speed of your nerves and how it's connected to your muscles, and that when your connection gets stronger, they believe when you have more access to the amount of fibers of whatever in your body. And, you know, that's over time, but they think the younger you are and if you get into it from an early age, that's why those people are stronger. So they don't think it's to, you know, that. But what if it's both?
I think it is both because what happens is that definitely happens.
Yeah.
But also your tendons are getting stronger at a younger age.
They literally said on the doctor scan, there was one guy who went in for an x-ray. He's like, dude, they're like fucking nickels in there. What the hell are you doing? I'm like, damn. You know, so it happens. It's probably... It's just, it's like a thing where I think, you know, it matters. You need it. And that's why when the gym bros see all the arm wrestling lifts, they're like, oh, range of motion sucks, or like that's an ego lift. And, you know, when they see the Georgian guys lift, like when those dudes are like lifting in some weird warehouse in the middle of nowhere and they're like holding like a giant car engine worth of crap in like, you know, in the palm of their hand, and they're like, how is this gonna help on the table? And they're like, damn.
Well, the thing is, yeah, that's you know, the gym bro guys don't understand the arm wrestling thing, and it's like I understand. Why
and when they get
don't.
no, but what they start doing, they're like, and now they're like, I was making fun of this, but now I'm doing this. So you know,
well, so that's the main reason why we do this podcast is because we know that over time, all those gym bro guys are going to make their way over here, exactly, because eventually the gym gets boring. And you feel stupid because you're like, well, how long am I just going to be a gym bro? Because when you're a gym bro, your gym thing has no purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
So what you realize is you lose the sense of purpose because what's the sense of purpose? Your only sense of purpose is some weird narcissistic vanity so that you have to look in the mirror and make sure that you have your abs and your striations, right?
No, imagine that's a thing you have to go to the doctor.
Not
no,
really
what if
a
it's
purpose.
like with arm wrestling? You go to the doctor, you're like, hey, could you x-ray my bones? Yeah, that's thick.
Right.
Juice. Oh, jeez, dude, look at that guy. Oh, his ball. Oh, thank you, doc.
So the best example of that is when they're bodybuilding type dudes who've been bodybuilding and they look super strong and they're awesome.
Yeah.
And they are strong, but then they'll go on a table with some kid who mostly arm wrestles and they're destroyed every time. So to me, that's the truth. You know, that's where the purpose comes in.
Oh my God, they're bone buff. But
I mean, because you look at like the generation of today. And I remember even in college, you see like these obese people and these really skinny people. And then you have to come to realize something that they're not, I think that in a lot of
like
the education system of today, they're not really teaching physical health as much as they should. Like if you go to colleges, there's no mandatory gym. There's no like trying to tell people they got to take care of their bodies.
But some people want to get fat on purpose for arm wrestling.
That's why there's like free food at college, and then those people get obese, they become fat, and it's their fault. But if you have the mindset to want to change, any person can change. And the people that say that they can't, and they're like 200, 300
well, when they
pounds,
say it's their genetics, you open their fridge.
It
and
doesn't
you're like,
matter.
Wow,
Genetic-wise, anyone can change. It all depends on your mental mind.
Yeah, don't like let it down the desk.
Don't let your body, don't let your fatness or your skinniness like trick you into believing that that's what you are going to be for your whole life.
Oh, yeah.
If you want something, then you got to say to yourself, you can do this. Don't let other people make you feel that you can't change. Anyone can change. It is all about your mindset on how you do it. Like, what do I need to do first to get to A, B, C, or C, B, and A, or whatever? Look, the point is just you got to believe in yourself. You got to push yourself. And if you do that over time, give it maybe a year or two, or maybe a few years, you're going to see results that you thought you were never thought in your mind that you can do possible. You'll see a new self, and you'll say, is that really me? You know, I mean, here's the thing. I remember when I was a little kid and I saw how over fat my dad was, right? And I said to myself, I will never allow myself to become that.
Because you could tell that the way he looked, it wasn't a good feeling, right?
No. I mean, I was never fat or anything. I just saw my
dad. Not you. I'm saying him.
Yeah, my dad. And, because I saw him, he would always walk half naked and all that. And
it looked amazing, right?
No, he looked horrible.
Right.
I mean, he looked
didn't
like
look
a freaking slob. And you know
Right.
what? I said to myself, I never want to be that.
Right.
Like, it's so disgusting. I mean, who wants to live like 200, 300 pounds?
Yeah, like how you going to get a date? Right?
Yeah,
that ain't going to work.
I mean, unless you have a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because because that's why all those women are gonna love you, not just because you're fat. It's
No, but
because-
that's like all those like
you could hide money in those
no,
folds.
that's like all those.
like imagine he's like
No,
here's $100. You know,
no, but it's like no, but you got to think. When you see
look,
those,
I got a bunch
No,
of
Those are
50s.
called flesh pockets.
when you see
Yeah,
those
here you
people,
go. Here,
when you see those
That's
people,
where all my money
no,
is.
when you see those people on the street, you got to think. When you see the X-rays, you realize they're not big bone. They're just wearing an exosuit of like.
like
stuff.
how there's like those fat people that say that I'm just big boned, I'm not fat.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're fat. They just don't want to admit.
Well, let me tell you, I'm small boned, so I'm definitely always going to be fat if I'm fat. I don't have that bone thing
Yeah.
because my bones ain't growing.
They real big bone people. They are. They're.
I mean, but basically what I was just trying to say is this, don't, if you feel that you can change yourself, then, listen, try to pursue it. Because if you just have a second thought that you can't do it and then you wait 20 years and then, wow.
It's always about some level of transformation, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because listen, while you're young and while you're at a certain age, if you just,
It's a fight.
it sounded like Mortal Kombat. Dun, 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 dun,
it's like a
dun,
dance, like a
Oh,
Broadway show.
I was
or
going to
something.
say though also about. I just realized even about the roid thing in arm wrestling. I want to say another reason why I was going to say why you shouldn't do them is because SARMs can also screw with your insulin. They can screw with your brain.
Yeah.
They can also, and some steroids that they say, you know how people are like, I just realized like some people take steroids because they want to get that collagen synthesis, but those same exact steroids, a lot of them like the Decadurabolin and, oh God, like a lot of those I found out they're actually bad. Cause like, do you know how I found out, like, you know how all those big dudes like Larry Wheels and that Australian guy, the Callum guy, they got injured all the time, so many times. And people were thinking it's because of, or I was thinking because of the amount of stuff they were taking. And it was making their, stuff, like the Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman, he was like, well, no, I don't think he ever had a ligament or tendon thing. But he did screw up his joints or like bone in angles or his bone, what are those things called? Implants, like the sections where your bones get put together.
You mean the socket?
The insertions?
Yeah, like a bionicle. Like he messed up those because he was like lifting super heavy.
Yeah, but Ronnie Coleman's a different case because I think he was probably natural for the early 90s and he was incredibly muscular.
I think
right?
he was natural.
Yeah, so but going back to that Callum Von Moger dude.
Oh yeah,
right?
he got injured.
Dude,
like
when
4 or
that guy
5
is off roids, he looks like a completely different, normal dude who doesn't even lift. And it's like, okay, well, it's obvious he's fucking on. Because if you start and stop lifting, it doesn't look that crazy. But on him, it does. Every time he gets injured, everything goes away, and then his girlfriend leaves him on Instagram or whatever, right?
I remember, but do you know how sad? No, like, because that just shows that they were only in it when there was the roids and the money.
Yeah.
But when you have a broken thing, they're not.
Well, it's
gonna
like
be
every relationship where it's like, oh, when things are bad,
it's like if you can't have me at my worst, you can't have my best.
I can't be in this.
See,
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. If
I gotta
you're in
go.
a relationship and if they're only in it just because you got to
Only there for the good
like
times.
the packs and
yeah.
the pecs and all that.
It's like the thing at the arm wrestling thing. Like they're like, it's like the new version of the gamer girl thing. Like, oh my God, she arm wrestles and she's a girl. That's the thing. People are like, oh my God.
But here's the thing, right? I mean,
I want an arm wrestle.
you look at there's like two types of relationships. There's one where a guy or a girl actually really cares about you, regardless of what you have and this and that. And then there's that one type of relationship where they'll only love you either because of your looks or how much money you make, or
it's the 666
perhaps maybe
rule.
they have their own.
Dude, it's how tall you
the
are.
666 rule. 6 digits. You got to be 6 feet.
No,
and
6 figures.
6 figures. 6 feet.
Don't say the last.
And then the last one
It's
you
not.
don't want to know.
Why? What is it?
You have to be 6 inches
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
to
Oh.
like.
So you don't have to be 8, 9, or 10? It can't be 6, 6, 10? That's all they want is 6 inches?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. That's easy, bro.
Yeah, no, but notice
the hardest part is getting if you don't have 6 feet.
No, but there's another
thing
thing where they have weird standards because I've seen that there's like guys who don't think they're that good looking and they have lower standards. They don't have high standards. But I feel like girls who people would not say that they're not that great have higher standards, the same as the high echelon girls.
I just want to just say this just very quick that but when you do find someone that truly cares about you, then listen, it's special. But then when you have someone that uses you, then you feel like shitty in the end.
Well, it's either an abusive or an enabling relationship.
You're gonna say something.
I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Don't. We did that last.
Like
time.
what? What do you think I was gonna say? I don't even remember.
Because I was talking about I think how like the 4 foot whatever girls want like a.
I was gonna say hypergamy. I was like, yeah,
that's real though.
Yeah.
Because there's like the lookism stuff that's real. Yeah. There's the stuff where they literally I've heard
trading up.
There's guys who interview chicks and people on the street, and they're like, "If you're not 6'3", if you're below that, you don't exist."
Yeah.
No, I'm like, oh
that's okay. There's someone out there for everyone.
No, but the good news is, it's just like they're gonna get what they want. It's like a filter. They're filtering out what they want. But then it's like also it's like
I mean I can just say that there's also a lot of obsessed people. Like I remember. Remember when I had that
obsessed or fetishizing?
He had stalkers.
I remember
he had a stalker.
I remember in college, I had
it was
the Maki incident.
It was this foreign exchange student who was after.
No. This is what happened. So basically, there was this. So I was hanging out with my sister. This was freshman year. This was in 2016.
Just get to the good
2016.
Yeah.
I think. And I was a freshman, just hanging out with my sister in the lounge in the freshman building, and then we're sitting on the couch, and then we see this girl's on the computer, and then she turns around, and just stares at me, and I realize, what the hell's going on?
Couldn't get enough of you.
And then she comes up to us and says,
"I want to lose my virginity."
No.
And the last guy was Peter too.
No, wait, no, that you're thinking of something else.
Okay,
stop. And then basically what happened was this girl says, "Oh, man, I'll shit here or something." And she's like, she said, and then Irene basically, and I'm like creeped down. And my sister's creeped down. We're like,
she just wanted to get close.
Get this. Then my sister ditches me. She ditches me with this girl.
And now you're stuck there.
And then, I think she had like some kind of like disability or something. I don't know. But she
like with
really
walking or something.
No, like her face and just like how she talked,
and
I felt so.
So is this like the chick from The Grudge or Ring? Or?
I mean, she just sounded weird, and then I was talking to her until like 2, 3 the next day, and I really had to go, and then Irene found me, and then Irene says to me, "Hey, Peter, I need your help with something," and then. Irene saves me finally. She ditches me for all those hours.
She waited that long to save you.
No. What's it called? She saw that I was.
What happened to the part where I was there and I had?
No. So I'm gonna get to that.
Okay,
that's the good part.
And then actually, what's funny? While I was talking to this girl, she basically was showing me trailers of movies about how this white girl was stalking this black guy, and this white girl wanted to replace the guy's wife and his children or something. I don't. It was it was and
that was her favorite
I should have said
movie?
those were like some Easter eggs or something, telling me that this girl's a stalker. And then you know what this girl was telling me? How she stalked the entire
football team.
How she was telling me, and also
it's funny how
and
guys
at the
want
end
a girl to stalk
when I was walking out of that room, she's like, "Oh, maybe we can play. Maybe tomorrow we can play some pool together." So, Yeah.
No, get to
You know, and then
Well, she meant
it
with
gets worse.
with your stick.
Oh
Yeah,
no, he's gonna topple
and your
No,
balls.
she was basically
She's gonna
crazy.
pronate your.
And then
Well, your name is Peter, so
Oh
no.
no!
wait. No, get this. So then the next day,
Oh shit!
basically this girl tries to find me. So I locked myself in my room for maybe
Finding Nemo
for maybe like maybe 2 weeks. Maybe 2-3 weeks. I was in my room. I had to miss so many.
I was your person. I had to be.
so now you're afraid of her.
Clear. I missed you back stuff.
No, basically, I had to miss so many classes because of this girl. Because I was so afraid to leave my room because this girl
quarantining before was cool.
Basically, this girl wouldn't leave me alone. She would get random guys to knock on my door, and then they would say, "Hey, Peter, Maki's looking for you."
Oh boy!
And then I'm like hiding. My eyes were bloodshot red.
Could I say that?
I looked so out of it because I haven't been sleeping for days.
You looked like,
and then I felt like I was a
man.
zombie.
The succubus was sucking out your soul.
No. This Maki girl, and you got to know this. This girl was a senior, and I was a freshman.
Oh yeah,
and
predator.
this girl was a literal predator. It scared the living crap out of me.
Nice.
And then finally. Wait, get this.
Yeah, what's your part?
Fine, you know what's your part?
Okay. No, you go first because I'm gonna forget.
Fine. And then at the end of all this, I just had enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 12 at midnight, right? And I'm basically I go outside in the hallway with her and I'm telling her, you gotta stop this, please. You know, listen, it's never gonna work. Listen, I'm just starting out college, you're leaving, and also plus I'm sure you're going to find maybe not someone as nice as me, but I'm sure you're going to find somebody as good out there. You know, I mean, you know.
And then you had the high
but just in my defense, I did say it in the most nice way possible. You know what I mean? But then get this: everyone in the hallway was coming out and saying, "Hey, Peter, are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm good." And then everyone in my floor comes out, and then you know what? I mean, these girls were probably like an angel. They basically
let you hide under their bed.
Basically, these 3 girls said, "Hey, Peter, can you look under my bed? There's something there." And they're like, yeah, sure, not a problem. So I go under these girls' bed and I'm like hiding. I'm like hiding from this crazy nut. And she's like, and then I hide under there for like maybe 5 minutes. And then these girls are telling me. And then because everyone's also in the hallway, just to let you know. And then basically they're telling me, that she's not going to leave unless I give her a hug or something. It's like,
did you give her a hug?
No, I didn't. And so I go into the hallway and then she jumps me like a goddamn jaguar. It takes 5 people to get this girl off me.
Heat.
No. She basically, it took 5 people to get her off me. And then,
did she hump you? Wow, she jumped you?
No. She crippled?
No.
She couldn't either.
No, she didn't do that. No, she just tried grabbing me, and then it takes 5 people to get her off me.
Dude,
and then they were telling.
She reach straight for your waistband?
And then our neighbor, who was across
from. I think he was wearing were you wearing Adidas?
No.
So she went right in there.
No. So basically,
deep inside the hook.
No. So basically, after when these guys get her off me, and then one of the guys, our neighbor Mark, who was. But that guy was an asshole. Yeah. I'm going to say something about him.
No.
I didn't.
Where's the good part that you were talking about?
And then then the Mark guy says to me, "Run." So I run as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And this girl's chasing me like she's like the killer, and I'm like the
a fat
person
kid after candy.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like running. And then I locked that door so quick, and then she's like knocking at my door until like 3-4 in the morning.
Did I get to my part?
And then you
and I just said, okay. I went out. I was like, hey, I know. I was like, Pete's not here. And she's like, where is he? I was like, yeah, he's not here. He's not here. And I don't know if he's coming back, but he's not here. And then she left for reals because I was like, listen, I'm going to, like, this is insane. Like, listen, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and also another thing, after that happened, I did put a restraining order.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I did put a restraining order. and it was approved.
That was so.
And
then
you know-
she said she
you know
saw you
what's
with the
funny?
most saddest eyes.
You know what's funny? How the principal there didn't want me to tell people that it's a restraining order, even though it is, because it's keeping
Because it
her
would make the school look
away
bad if
from
you
me.
had-
Right.
Because, no offense, I mean, I didn't like the fact that she was stalking me.
Well, dude, if you were a woman and she was a guy, it'd be like everyone would be like, "Oh my god,
it'd be
this
on
is
the
highly
news.
unacceptable."
It'd be on
yeah.
the news.
You'd be in prison or
No,
something.
but also, you know another thing which is weird? Why is it that there's people like, you know how there's people into the thing of like, what's that thing called when they like girls who stalk them or girls?
Yeah.
What's that thing called? A tsundere?
a yandere.
Yes.
A yandere, yeah, basically a woman who's obsessed with the guy so much to the
Like there was
point
a girl in Japan
where
with the glasses and everyone's like
no,
freaking out over, oh my
basically-
God, I wish she was my
Yeah.
girlfriend. She's so cute.
Uh,
But they don't realize
yeah.
what she did. And I'm like, what the?
No, because basically a yandere, what they do is they'll kidnap the person that they love so much, because if they can't have them, no one can. So they'll like keep them tied up, and
No, that's
they'll,
why
they'll
you gotta
force
know.
feed them.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like that movie. What's that movie
Yeah.
where it's like the dude who traps people and he puts them together? Or no, it's like I just remembered the Shiru guy. You know that Shiru guy is like Jesus Christ.
You mean Shiyu?
Yeah, him and him. They got to have it out because they're both about the whole anime. You gotta see who's the bigger anime guy.
Well, yeah. So bring it back to arm wrestling. We're gonna wrap this up because we got to jump in
I'm
there.
sorry. Oh,
It's already time to fucking get ready. So thanks a lot, guys.
thank you. Are we gonna
And
do the
thank you for being on All Things Arm Wrestling. All right.